What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got a bunch of great topics for you guys, so let's go ahead and get right into it. And we're starting off with Fire Emblem 2021. So for those who have watched my channel, you guys know I'm huge on Fire Emblem. I absolutely love the franchise, and I'm always looking forward to what's next in there. Now, we did talk about how Fire Emblem Three Houses is the best selling Fire Emblem game of all time and one of the best selling strategy JRPGs of all time. Now that we do know that sales are over 3.02 million and counting, so that's very good to hear. Now, how does this relate to what they're doing with Fire Emblem potentially next year? Well, if we go back and kind of look at history, if you look at Fire Emblem Awakening, Fire Emblem Awakening was a game that had to sell. If it didn't sell over, I think, 250,000 copies, Nintendo was going to be like, all right, this is on the back burner. Obviously, it did much better than that, and at the time, it was the best-selling Fire Emblem game of all time. And then what did they do? They fast-tracked a sequel 2 years later called Fire Emblem Fates, then went kind of all in on that one when it comes to different versions and DLC and all of that stuff. So I do think there could be something similar done in this case. Now, where is there some backup for this? Well, a little bit ago, there was a rumor that Intelligent Systems has at least 2 projects in the works, and I would bet you anything that one of them is a brand new Fire Emblem game. Now, Fire Emblem Three Houses might seem kind of new, right? Because it is, right? If you're watching this video in 2020, obviously it came out last year. However, since they've got the engine, the groundwork, and the visuals kind of done, what they can do is they can take what they already have and make it even better. Because you have to remember, Fire Emblem Awakening to Fire Emblem Fates, in Awakening, they didn't have feet. They had like peg feet, you know, and it was like sailors or something like that, or like pirates, or whatever it was, man. They had peg feet then, and they actually improved the graphics to Fire Emblem Fates. Yes, it was still 3DS, and it wasn't a crazy big improvement because that system was limited, but there still was an improvement from the first game to the second game on the Nintendo 3DS. So I would expect them to do something very similar with Fire Emblem Three Houses and on to the next one, whatever they're working on. But what would it be? Would it take a little bit longer? Obviously, Fire Emblem Three Houses was delayed a number of times, but I do feel that we could at least see the next Fire Emblem game in 2021. But where could they go? I mean, I do think that it's very possible that we see a Fire Emblem Echoes branding of game with the Warriors engine and what they use for Fire Emblem Three Houses. So what would that be? So if you remember on the Nintendo 3DS, the swan song for Fire Emblem was Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia, which was a full-blown remake of Fire Emblem Gaiden back from the Famicom. So that was really cool to see. So I'm hoping they go back in the past and grab something and bring it back for modern audiences. And I would love for them to go back and grab Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. I think that would be a great candidate because one, Ike is one of the more popular Fire Emblem characters, and two, that game is extremely expensive on the GameCube. Yes, there's other ways to play it, but in terms of normally, I mean, it is so expensive. It's one of the most rare and most expensive GameCube games out there. So if they were to release a new age version of that, Fire Emblem Echoes Path of Radiance, right, or whatever the case is, or name it whatever they would want to name it, and it's a fantastic remake of the original GameCube game, I think that would just be really cool and bring even more people into Fire Emblem, especially some of those old school fans that maybe don't like as much of the new school Fire Emblem, but then the new school fans can still get all the modern additions like the no permanent permadeath, right, the options and all that stuff that has made Fire Emblem way more popular now at this point than it was back in the day. So I think you get the best of both, and that's exactly what they did with Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia, introducing a number of new mechanics so newer players can play, but then also having it to where you can disable those and play it the old school original way. So I think that there's going to be something from Fire Emblem next year in 2021. We're going to have to wait and see what it is. They're kind of gearing up for something, right? I mean, we know about the Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon game that's coming to the Switch for the limited time December. So we'll see what they have for us in 2021, or if there is anything at all. But what are you guys' thoughts, and what would you like to see for the next major Fire Emblem game? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, guys. We've got some major sales for Black Friday. This is my favorite time of the year. We start getting some amazing deals. Now, here's the thing, guys. There are deals across the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. So I'll make sure to have a link in the description below. If you want to see any of the deals, make sure you check that out because there's some really good ones on PS4 and Xbox One that I will be taking advantage of and playing backwards compatible on my Xbox Series X and on my PlayStation 5. So I will be doing that. But for the sake of this video and also time, we're going to go over some of the Nintendo Switch deals because you guys know how Nintendo Switch games are. Sometimes it's kind of hard to find some of the deals, but GameStop has some really good ones here. So going over the list, we've got Assassin's Creed on sale. We've got Catherine Full Body, Borderlands, The Outer Worlds, Streets of Rage. There's NBA Playgrounds, Final Fantasy. I mean, there are just a number of really good sales here. And probably the biggest thing off the back, I mean, you guys are seeing it. I'll have a list up with the prices for you guys just because it's kind of small on my screen here. But the biggest ones that I'm looking at are some of these first party sales on Black Friday at GameStop. So if you've been wanting games like Luigi's Mansion 3, that's $39.99. Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, that's $39.99. Super Mario Maker 2, once again, $39.99. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, both of those are also the same price as well at $39.99 each. So that's pretty good to see some of those first party games, especially my picks would be Super Mario Maker 2, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, but the ultimate pick here I think is Luigi's Mansion 3. That's the game out of these 5 games here that I really enjoyed the most. I think the game is phenomenal. The graphics are really good. It has online multiplayer, has offline multiplayer. It also has a long campaign with tons of just different things to find and collect and to battle and upgrades and stuff. I mean, it's pretty cool. I do like Luigi's Mansion 3 quite a bit. I actually liked it more in the first and second game, and I actually reviewed it. That's how much I liked the game. I actually did a full review on it. So if you want to know more about it, you can check out my review. But yeah, Luigi's Mansion 3 and some of those other games are definitely good. And like I said, Black Friday, it's ramping up. I mean, we're starting to get a lot of deals. A lot of retailers are starting to put out what they're going to be doing. So of course, I'll be covering all of that right here on PlayerEssence. So what do you guys think about some of these Nintendo Switch Black Friday deals? Any games you plan on picking up first or third party wise? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the final topic here. Let's talk about the demographics of Japan and what's going to be going down with next gen pretty much starting this week. So here's the thing, guys. People have wondered, even on my channel here, we talked about, well, what's going to happen in Japan? Is the PlayStation going to come in? Some people were saying, oh, look at the Xbox Series X pre-orders in Japan. What's going down in that country with the Switch already dominating and other systems coming in? Well, according to analyst Serkan Toto, which I've been following for a long time, he's actually a really good analyst. He says that Nintendo is going to stay king in Japan for the foreseeable future. So here's what he had to say in a recent interview with Bloomberg. So he said, quote, many PlayStation 4 owners in Japan would eventually move to the PlayStation 5, but that would largely depend on how strong the PlayStation team in Tokyo will be pushing the needs of Japanese customers to the American headquarters. Considering the current power balance between US and Japan, I can't expect much, unfortunately. Microsoft will continue to have a hard time in Japan, and I don't see any reason why the next Xbox should do better in Japan than the previous models. All signs point to that for the next years, Nintendo will stay king in Japan, and I really don't understand why Microsoft is still so obsessed with Japan. So it's interesting for him to say that because this is somebody that's based there, that has been analyzing and looking at the numbers and kind of knows what's going on. Because I have this discussion all the time, like, how is the PlayStation going to do? How is the Xbox going to do? And people like to come and tell me certain things. Well, from what I'm seeing as well, from what I'm seeing and from the numbers that we look at from each week, we can look at like the PlayStation 3 numbers heading into the PlayStation 4's launch, and the PlayStation 3 did a lot better when it comes to consumer interest in everything. The PS4 dropped off far quicker and far faster heading into the PlayStation 5's launch in Japan when it comes to weekly sales. So I think that's where Mr. Serkan Toto is really kind of getting some of this from, in addition to retail sales numbers, pre-orders, and things like that. when it comes to Japan and Xbox, obviously, like I said, the same thing. I think everyone kind of knows that Xbox doesn't do well in Japan, and I think that Microsoft just wants to have a good relationship with Japan so they can get those Japanese games that are big in the West, you know, and kind of like worldwide known, like the Kingdom Hearts and stuff like that, get those to continue being on Xbox. Yeah, they're kind of obsessed with them at times, right? Like the whole Yakuza deals and things like that. But I think it's because they want to stay somewhat competitive. They want to have that presence, regardless if it's working out for them or not. They still want to have that. So maybe that's the case there. I know there was a time that Microsoft was even more obsessed with Japan, which was back in the Xbox 360 days, where they spent literally millions, if not billions of dollars on marketing and just making sure they can get timed exclusives, some exclusives completely from like Mistwalker, Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon. I mean, there were a number of games that were exclusive or timed on the Xbox 360 in Japan. So it's not quite to that level of obsession, but it's there just a little bit, you know, when it comes to some of the stuff with Game Pass and kind of some money they're throwing around. But I don't really see Microsoft doing that great in Japan either. Switch is going to continue to do the best. I mean, what we know in Japan, the demographics right now and what they're doing, it does seem like it's going to be more of a mobile and smartphone type of area, with the added ability with the Switch being able to play on the TV and also on the go. Switch systems are just doing amazing there. Nintendo software still sells the best there, so I don't really see any change anytime soon. And if anything, it's getting smaller and smaller for Microsoft and Sony there. But the good news for Microsoft and Sony, of course, is that they have a huge audience overseas, Europe and also the US, so they'll have plenty of systems to sell outside of Japan. So what are you guys' thoughts on all the different topics that we discussed today? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. We've got Twitter. Go and give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all latest gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.